Biggie Smalls once said, "Mo money, mo problems." But for these famous rappers, it seems that less money caused more problems. Several famous rappers and hip-hop stars went broke. Some of these rap artists went broke due to bad record deals, while others lost all their money because they mismanaged their funds. Some rappers even did jail time for tax evasion. Rappers love their money, and they love talking about it, but occasionally they love spending it a smidge too much. Sometimes when they spend all of their cash on fancy bling and cars, they go absolutely broke. Let's look at the rappers who went broke. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Number 10. 50 Cent. For 50 Cent, cash flow seemed to be endless at one point. In 2015, the New York Post reported he sold almost 30 million albums, made a reported $60 million to $100 million on his investment in vitamin water, had endorsement deals with companies including Reebok and Right Guard, plus owned a successful record label and clothing company. The Washington Post estimated his net worth at $500 million in 2010. When 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy in 2015, he was making $185,000 a month, but $72,000 went to his 18-bedroom house, and almost everything else went to other expenses. While he admitted he had recently bought a Rolls-Royce, he said most of the cars, jewelry, and jets he showed off on social media were actually borrowed or rented. But his big problems came from the illegal stuff he did. 50 Cent's bankruptcy case was resolved in July 2016, with the rapper to pay $23 million to his creditors over a 5-year period. Number 9. Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim faced bankruptcy after she was sued by the former label for $2.5 million in 2008. In 2012, she reportedly owed the government $1 million in back taxes. Furthering the issue, she put her plans to release a new album on hold in favor of supporting her probable beau, Floyd Mayweather, during his prison sentence for domestic battery. Priorities, people, she wasn't lying in her song. She had definitely been all about the Benjamins for Lil' Kim, who had had problems paying her mortgage. CNBC reports her bank first started foreclosure proceedings in 2010. And in 2015, the two parties were still trying to work things out. But by 2017, a judge ruled she had her chance. According to the LA Times, a year later, the bank foreclosed on the New Jersey mansion, and Kim filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy protection. She had some major debts. Number 8. Bow Wow. Bow Wow started releasing music when he was 13. Since then, he's had hit records and moved into acting, starring in movies and TV shows. So you'd think he'd have a decent amount of money saved up over the years. But that could not be further from the truth based on what he told a judge in 2012. On March 28, 2012, it was announced that Bow Wow was ordered by the court to pay $3,000 a month in child support. On October 2, 2012, Bow Wow claimed he was broke and only making $4,000 a month and only had $1,500 in his checking account. His money problems became a meme in 2017 when he was caught flying commercial after boasting about flying on a private jet online. This in turn inspired the hashtag Bow Wow Challenge, and the internet had a good laugh. Poor Bow Wow. Number 7. Young Buck. Young Buck, a rapper who featured in Lil Scrappy's Money in the Bank, is asking fans to donate to his GoFundMe after becoming broke. No longer screaming the opening words, "I'm rich, bitch," to Lil Scrappy's 2006 hit, Money in the Bank, featuring artist Young Buck, has revealed to his fans that he's in need of an extra buck these days, as he has no money in the bank. Calling his new campaign "A Buck for Buck," Young Buck also took to Instagram to ask his fans to send him $1 via Cash App. He was targeted in a drive-by shooting, and in April 2012, he received an 18-month prison sentence for gun possession. At the end of July, a public auction was held at his estate. with goodies like a soda machine, a 50-cent plaque, and numerous watches being sold. Number 6. Fat Joe. He went from asking what's love to what's tax. The rapper received 4 months of jail time for failing to pay taxes up to $700,000 in 2007 and 2008. He essentially pleaded ignorance, saying, "You gotta understand, we hire guys who are supposed to have Harvard degrees to take care of us." There's a lesson in Fat Joe's misfortune. Don't completely leave your finances in someone else's hands, even if they have a fancy college degree. Despite earning over $3 million in 2007 and 2008, Joe decided to not pay the more than $700,000 he owed the IRS on it, reports USA Today. He faced up to 2 years in prison. In a 2019 interview, Joe implored young rappers to have a solid business plan and not to make his mistakes like wasting millions on jewelry and private planes. Number 5. MC Hammer. MC Hammer was living the high life in the early 90s, thanks mostly to You Can't Touch This. Hammer was worth an estimated $33 million, which he proceeded to blow on a massive entourage that cost $500,000 a month. A $30 million mansion, 19 thoroughbred racehorses, 2 private helicopters, a Lambo, and a private jet, among others. He eventually dug himself a $13 million hole and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In 2011, Mr. Hammer was given an almost $780,000 bill from the IRS for unpaid taxes, dating back to 1996 and 1997. It just goes to show you that the IRS will always get you in the end, even if it takes 15 years. Number 4. XZIBIT. XZIBIT may know all about cars, but apparently he didn't even own one himself. The former Pimp My Ride host owed nearly $1 million in back taxes as of 2010 and was leasing a 2006 Range Rover for just $2,330 a month. The biggest reason for his downfall? He reportedly owed more than $900,000 in back taxes in late 2010. XZIBIT earned nearly $500,000 a year from the show, and when it ended, the lavish spending continued, without the income to support it. Number 3. SWIZZ BEATZ. Swizzy on Gucci time, 100 thou on the wrist ain't nothing, Swizzy in court. We have been discussing the issue with the government for years and are currently negotiating an amicable resolution of the dispute. Yep, the newly minted Mr. Alicia Keys is broke. And he's broke on a level only rich people can be broke. When's the last time you saw a homeless guy with millions of dollars in debt? In addition to the $2.2 million in unpaid bills, he and his ex-wife Mashonda are being sued by creditors. And the $500,000 he owes Mashonda in unpaid child support and alimony, Mr. BEATZ also allegedly failed to pay the government nearly $1 million in taxes, which the IRS isn't exactly happy about. With all of the production he's doing, he's obviously raking in some serious cash. But it's economics 101. When you spend more than you make, you're broke. Number 2. Nas. Nas had his earnings garnished in 2009 to pay over $6 million in back taxes. He also claimed that his ex Khalees requested over $300,000 for child support, and that if he had to pay, it would completely bankrupt him. Nas on success. Google Earth Nas I got flats in other continents. Nas's lawyer in court. My client makes substantially less than that amount. While Nas has never been the most swaggerish, he hasn't been shy about occasionally flashing that cash. Cash that his divorce trial with Khalees has revealed he doesn't actually have. Nas is one of the greatest rappers of all time, and his debut album, Illmatic, is often considered to be one of the most influential albums in history. Number 1. Method Man. On the bright side, some of these cautionary tales can have positive endings. In Method Man's case, when things looked their bleakest, it turned out all he needed was a little chronic, or rather to stop smoking it for a while. When Repo Man came to take some of the rapper's valuables, he didn't panic. It wasn't due to lack of finances that he neglected to pay the roughly $52,000 he owed in taxes, but instead of fondness for pot. Because I got high, I forgot to pay. I was stupid. I'm an idiot for that, Meth said. Somewhere, Afro Man is smiling. Now your career's at a standstill until you get more money. Be a dumb rapper or be a smart rapper so you don't end up like these broke rappers. Are you surprised that so many famous rappers went broke? Do you feel bad for these rappers for losing all their dough? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching.